Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Amy Brownell, and every single Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific, I go live here on YouTube to talk about all things CFO and advisory related. And, today we have a really great topic. I'm going to talk to you about why you're not getting CFO level clients. There are a couple of reasons, and we're going to go through them today. So before we get into it, though, I would really love it if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you would follow me on YouTube, and, well, you would be doing that if you subscribe. Follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can see the links for those in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and post those in the comment section below this video, and I will respond to you. I'll answer questions as we go, or if you post something afterwards, I will come back and get an answer to you. All right, so let's get into this. Why exactly people have so many issues getting CFO clients? Well, there are two main reasons. The first of which is that business owners are not looking for us. They're not looking for you. They don't know exactly what you do. They don't know even really what CFO means. So they don't know how to look for us. They don't know what we do. They don't know how we can help them. There are a lot of things that business owners don't know about the kind of people we are and the kind of work that we do. And most of all about how we can benefit them. So that is the first reason that business owners aren't looking for us. The second is that they assume that they can't afford it. So when you hear the word CFO, normally your mind goes to a really big company. You're talking about the CFO of a big bank or a very large company, and that is true, but there are also CFOs for small and medium-sized businesses. That said, if that business owner doesn't know that there is a difference, they assume, hey, I can't pay a CFO $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I'm just a small little business. I can't afford that. And they end that search right there. So that is a reason why they don't look for us. The third reason that they don't look for us is that they think that they're too small, that they don't really need one. But get this, small and medium-sized businesses have many of the same exact problems of really large businesses. They have the same needs. They have the same problems, concerns, questions. And if they don't have a CFO that's leading them, that's guiding them, that's helping them make good decisions, it's not going to work. They definitely do need one, but they're under the belief that they're too small, and therefore they don't, it's just not in the cards for them. They don't realize that someone like us exists for a much lower price than hiring out a big CFO. All right. What happens when a business owner basically says, you know what, this isn't in the cards for me. I guess I'm going to have to just figure out myself. Well, they try to figure out themselves. They try to DIY it. But in the end, what that ends up doing is hurting the business because they don't have the experience. They've never done this kind of work before in most cases. And they honestly don't want to do that kind of work. They got into business because, for example, a florist loves flowers. They don't love financials. They don't want anything to do with that part of the business. They want to do what they got into business for because that's what they love. So they don't have the experience, the knowledge. They didn't have the education. They certainly don't have the time. I mean, business owners are busy people. And if they are spending their time trying to figure out the forward strategy of the business and trying to understand, should I do X or Y and what are the results of those decisions? they're not focusing on the big important thing, which is growing the business, on executing against growing the business. They're not able to focus. Their time focus is spread among a bunch of different priorities, which means, if you ain't got enough time, nothing's going to get done well. And then finally, they don't have the tools. They don't have tools like Fathom or Jira or Sift, whatever. They don't have those same types of tools. They don't even know that tools like that exist. They know usually about QuickBooks, but outside of that, unless they're using Xero or Sage, they just aren't aware that there are specific CFO tools that we can use. Some of them think that it should be all done in Excel, and it can be, I suppose. But that said, why? There are so many tools out there that make it easy. So that is the first thing. And the end result of that is that if they can't figure it out, they give up. Or worse yet, they go out of business because they haven't been able to crack the nut of figuring out how to strategically grow their business, how to earn more, how to be more efficient, how to manage their cash. If they can't figure that out, one in 5 businesses go out of business within the first 5 years. No, that's not true. Half of all businesses go out of business within the first 5 years. There we go. And without a CFO, they are likely to become one of those statistics. They don't want to go out of business. We have to make it easy for them to find us, to know what we do. All right, so what is the second reason that we can't get clients? Well, there are right ways of getting clients and there are wrong ways of getting clients. And a lot of people do those wrong ways. They are very, very prevalent, unfortunately. So if you're one of those types that is putting up a profile, whether it's a LinkedIn profile or your Pro Advisor profile, and just sitting back and waiting and hoping for those clients to come in, that's likely not going to happen. Because like I said, they're not necessarily looking for us. They don't know what to look for. You don't know what you don't know. So if you're putting up a profile and just hoping that the clients will come, you got to have another strategy. There are some people who are like, okay, I'm just going to update my website and just wait for the clients to roll in. Again, they're not searching for us. They're not searching CFO. Some are, of course, but in general, they're not searching for our website. They are searching for, how do I make more money? How do I grow my revenue? Things like that. Another wrong way is relying on word of mouth. Word of mouth it is great, but at the end of the day, word of mouth and referrals will only get you so far. They're great to start out with, and you definitely should use them. That said, you have to have another plan, because eventually you're going to run out of contacts in your LinkedIn list, and you have to have some kind of plan beyond that. The other wrong way to go about getting clients is to send a zillion cold messages, whether that's on LinkedIn or email, whatever that looks like. Most of the people, I don't know about you guys, but on LinkedIn, when I get a connection request, unless I know that person, unless I've heard of them, unless there's something that I think we can benefit, there can be a mutually beneficial relationship, I'm very unlikely to accept their friend request. And that's how most people are. So just sending out endless cold messages, especially those messages where you're like, hey, I'd love to connect, and here's my link to book time to schedule a chat to discuss X, Y, and Z. Those I'm definitely not accepting. I don't know how you guys are, but those are definitely the messages that I try to stay away from, because it is so very, very clear that they want something from me. And, I'm busy. I only got so much time, and I have to make sure that you're worthy of my time. So sending me a cold message is your first way to introduce yourself. There are better ways. There are better ways. What ends up happening when you do one of these wrong ways? When you try to get clients these ways that just don't work? Well, because you might be there, you might have been there. You don't get you don't get views, you don't get likes, you don't get responses. And you really start feeling the frustration because you want clients, you want to do it right, but the ways that you're going about it are not. And that frustration often leads to people just quitting and thinking that this life of freedom that I've talked about in previous videos, all of the income and the extra time that you get, the freedom to work with who you want, that life doesn't exist, because they can't see it. They can't crack the nut. They can't figure out how to get there. So there are a couple of ways that that really work to get clients. People that I've worked with, they have a lot of success in a couple of different ways. One, networking. I'm not talking about going to your local chamber of commerce thing. I'm talking about BNI. And I know you're thinking, Amy, I hate networking. I don't want to talk to people. Well, you have to decide, if you want your business to succeed, if you want to get clients, you got to talk to people. If you don't, that's totally fine too. That just means that maybe you're better suited for a 9-to-5 job where you're able to stay in your own little space and the communication isn't so, there isn't so much communication. So that's one way, definitely networking, specifically BNI. The second way is to create a resource that is able to really help business owners solve their problems and actually solve their problems. I'm not saying just random things like create a budget. I'm just saying specific things that plague their industry, giving them that information. All right. Well, that is it. If you want any more information about what we talked about today, post a comment in the comment section below. If you have questions, same thing. Otherwise, I have an upcoming challenge here on November, 12th through 14th. You can find the link in the description of this video. It's called GameChangerChallenge.com/register. And that will take you to exactly where you need to go to learn more about this free resource that I'm talking about how to best utilize networking and the right ways to get clients. Okay, well, I have had a good time. Like I said, would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel, but make sure you follow me on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. And I will see you back here for another episode of the CFO Insider next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Everyone, have a good one.